Recording Magic Minutes.
How is everyone doing today? Welcome. It's just gonna be me today. I am taking the reins. So if I'm not quite as good as Chris or Shanti, please forgive me, fam. But I'm doing my best here. But I hope how's everyone doing today? What's up?
Doing good, Cody. How you doing, man?
Doing great.
Okay,
Good
because
day.
of the streaming software, it interrupts with my camera on here, so I will have no camera going forward. But okay, let's get started today. Uh, let's call to order. Let's not forget about why we are here. The 5 reasons why we are here. The 5 values. Contribution. Contribution. We're all here to help each other, guys. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue moving forward. Goodwill. Let's stay forward, guys. Let's keep doing good things with it for each other. Attentionality, guys. Let's keep always thinking let's do things right because we intend to do things right and we have the intentions of having good values. You know what I'm saying? And anyone know what the last one is for me?
Goodwill.
I think I said goodwill, didn't I?
Did you?
Integrity. But
That's a good.
let's go ahead and get moving forward, guys. So who wants to start us off here with our first proposal for the day and what we're going to be moving forward with?
I can take a stab at the low-hanging fruit. In the proposal forum, we've got 3 that all have been um, garnered a lot of support from the relay runners, or have been talked about a lot in the network committee meetings. And I think we have an easy job with the consequences for failed stress tests, criteria for failing a relay stress test, and rewards based on average minimum peers during stress testing. I think all those are very strong, lots of support, and uh, I think those are easy ones we can come together on. And it's the committee speaking. Um,
All right, that's awesome. So let's go ahead and
Are
start
there
off
are
with
there
some of the
straw
high.
polls for these
What's
already?
that?
Are there straw polls for these already?
Polls? Let me go take a look real fast. Um,
I do not believe there is yet.
yeah, okay. Are you? I guess Shanti will take care of that when she gets back. Or do you need any permissions to get that taken care of, Scotty? If you know what needs to be done.
No, we could reach out to Shanti to have her just send out a vote if you guys are ready to vote on it.
Okay, she'll be out for a little bit, but I'll make sure I let her know that she needs to get the polls pushed out, and I'll make sure that gets done when that gets done later today. So, all right, we got no polls on anything then. Okay. So, do you guys want to go ahead and let's go ahead and take care of some of these high priorities first, and then we will take care of the minimal priorities at the end. So, let's start off with the first one, the community token airdrop, guys. Where are we at with that?
it must be done. I think the only thing I'd like is it be changed to 3 from 10, but I like it otherwise. Or from 10 to 3, I don't know what I said, but I think it should be 3 and not 10, and I'd have my vote.
All right. Okay, I will get with Scotty after this if I have to. Maybe me and him could push out the poll so we can get these voted on and get these pushed out then. Okay, but there's no arguments there. You guys are fine with it for the most part and ready to vote. All right, heard that. Okie dokie. Let's get on to the next high priority, which is the ecosystem service testing and retroactive.
Yes, that is the D-Light proposal that Shelly and I have been active in for commenting. So D-Light did a bunch of he took the responsibility of stress testing over from Rob Sanders. He was shown the ropes, I believe, by Henrik. I'm not entirely sure on that, but there was a process in place. He learned it. He started taking on the responsibilities, and he also did some work to automate it. The testing was in better shape after D-Light took over the role than before. So he did add some value in the testing procedure. He started off with a high ask, which has been brought down, and the reasoning on that is kind of twofold. First of all, there was an hourly rate proposed. He was saying it was 3 hours per test, and he was suggesting a compensation for what he charges when he consults, which was $108 an hour to do stress testing. That was argued against, let's call it. We provided comparables, and the hourly rate, I believe, now is sitting at $35 or 40. So I think that's in the reasonable range based on what I've researched for network stress testing hourly rates. The other piece of contention, and this one is where the controversy is, he did all the official tests we need and a ton of unofficial tests. And the unofficial tests and official tests both help the relay runners. The only difference is one of them you lose points on, one of them you don't. But every stress test lets your relay runners know how they're calibrated and if they could calibrate better. But what I don't think people appreciated in the relay community, at least, when these tests were happening, and for example, there was a stress test every 2 or 3 days for some months for some part of July, was every time we're asking D-Light to do this, we're paying $100+ for him to do that activity, which I don't think was understood. Obviously, there was some compensation attached to it, but I don't think people understood we were paying by the stress test and just how costly a stress test was, when in reality, I believe 4 official stress tests is all that is required to properly assess the network, or at least that's what the plan is for MainNet. So now there's a little bit of a discussion around, are you willing to go lower than your requested amount, which I think is around the $3,000 range with the $35 rate, and are you willing to um, discount some of those unofficial tests, uh, and come in at even lower. I believe Shelley suggested $2,000 for this, so it'd work out to around 1,000 a month. But Shelley, if you want to hop in and provide more context, I think I captured the most of it.
Well, yeah, I think I just recommended going there. It's not like, I mean, that's as low as I would ask. It's just that when he gets his $2,000 or $3,000, he's going to have like an impact on the network, and um and so yeah, I I thought to ask him about bringing it down, but um yeah, so uh, um I think I think that there were like, more, is just in general there were more tests than there should have been, right? And it seemed like um yeah, it's It's hmm, yeah, so my only ask was to bring it down, you know. It's not like we have to pay him for every hour he uses, you know, when he's off duty. Like I don't ask people to pay me for all the hours I put in. I'm not like really efficient all the time, so like I don't I don't like I don't I don't if I work 3 hours, maybe I'm not like fully focused for 3 hours. And I don't expect anyone to pay me for my time that I spent, out of I guess doing things I want to do. And that's where I kind of felt that, maybe he was just doing things he wants to do, and then he's adding up all those hours now, and he's trying to pay, pay make us pay him for banging rocks. No one knew he was banging rocks for 2 months, right? And I mean, he was obviously he was adding value to the network testing, but I think there was I think it went beyond what it was supposed to be. Is
I think that puts it. I think that's a good framing. And as far as like him responding to comments, he responded to our um the I'd say last week he responded. This week he hasn't responded yet. So I don't know if this one is ready for the straw poll just yet. Personally, I'd like to see how he responds to what Dustin and Shelley have said. And once he responds, then we can probably vote after that.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think we need to expedite it, even though it's on the list of high priority, I guess, proposals, because it's not like we could always wait. Well, we have everything set up to where they have extended community feedback, so we could add another week or two on. It's not going to change his payout, the time he gets paid out significantly. Um, yeah, so well, like in the end, I think we end up compensating for him for his work he does, but just uh, yeah. So um, I think when we go into I guess compensating people, we don't want to, we want to have the job defined to where it's not like, they go in and they do it and they come back. It took me 100 hours. This is my hourly rate. Pay me $50,000. I think we should have it more defined and capped, right? But it wasn't it, this that wasn't the case in this, because it was basically a volunteer job, right? And but we recognize, that it was I guess it was crucial for helping us get to where we are. We know which relays were going to die anyway in the mainnet network.
For like a final comment maybe on this, I also think how we compensate this one is going to be used for what Rob potentially will ask, because he also did stress testing before D-Light, and it'll certainly define what the next person who takes this role on is going to be requesting. So in the network meeting, there was talk about automating this role, and apparently it can be done. So I just when we think about it, like Shelley said, I think when people are submitting proposals and they're doing it in an hourly way, it's hard for us to quantify, and I'm looking at what was the results achieved, and the results achieved fall in line between that 2,000 to 3,000 range, instead of the 8,000 that he came in with originally. So that's maybe like a closing point on that proposal, and we can let another week of feedback come in.
Yeah, one quick suggestion. Maybe moving forward, we should maybe tier each job, and then each tier has a cap. And we're going to usually put this tier as a certain difficulty level. And if someone's like engineering a whole different thing, that's like obviously like a more higher tier thing compared to someone running a stress test, which might be more in the middle of the pack. And you know that salary cap's right there, and we can maybe move on forward with something like that if we don't automate it that later. But maybe something we could look into later is tiering all these certain categories and stuff like that. And then like, well, that falls in this category right here in this tier. You know what I'm saying? So the max pay can be this, and but like kind of like what Shelly says. I almost kind of I fluster like people getting paid to do this. I've been here for a year. I'd love to get paid, but I trust you guys will think of something concise and good moving forward. And like Shelly said, I think it could be wait a little bit until we can kind of decide, what we're gonna do with it, since we got a little wiggle room there. So I guess we'll come back to that. The next high priority thing we got to talk about is consequences for a failed stress test. Is what is the next high priority I see topic that we need to talk about.
I think these are all. I think that and the other two that were submitted by the network committee are they're all just around the rules. There's no specific payout amount included in those. They're all the rules that the network committee thinks are, first of all, stricter than what was in phase one, and based on our experiences, are going to be relevant for at least the near term, at least the first quarter or 6 months. So we're not always approving new rule sets. But as far as the contents of the proposals, I've probably read this for a month plus now at this point. I'm extremely familiar with them, and I think these have huge community support. And I think these are, I'd qualify these as kind of easy passes with how much work has been done by the community on them. So I know that's where I stand on this one, and the other two for the network committee. They're ready for a straw poll, and they're solid proposals. I've I've read over the entire proposal. I think this is something that was part of a successful launch, coming in from the how does someone who purchases Voy do something on the Voy network in the early days and around like the coin store launch. And this is one area where someone could interact with the DeFi scene, become kind of like in a way like a leveraged or a longer term holder based on how the rewards work out. So I'm a fan of it, and I understand the reasoning behind it. It is a lot of tokens though, as well. So we should all recognize that yes, this is going to be great for the launch, but this also is going to create a lot of I'll just call it sell pressure, but unlocked tokens that need somewhere to interact. So this also kind of gives us a little bit of a clock that'll be ticking down, saying when this ends, we better have a lot of other DeFi products, interesting opportunities on Voy, or we could see a lot of this escape. But I mean, we need that time, and I think this is a compelling way for someone to get involved through the centralized exchange listings, not having to touch a bridge, um, audited contracts. So I'm a fan of it, but I recognize that it's I mean, putting a lot of putting a lot of tokens into play in a year's time plus. So worth considering.
I think it's worth mentioning. I
Sorry.
was just going to say it has the vest still, so it's still like, even though it's starting a clock, it's still like a gradual unwind, which is I think is worth.
But it will be distributed though. It's not as if it's like whales, right? It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a lot of distribution, so I don't think anyone will be like dumping all in one.
Yeah, I do think that this could appeal to a whale, just if somebody wanted to get a large position and kind of, let's call it, double their position. I think this would appeal to them, but I know this also works to facilitate uh, creating some demand. This is a demand element for the token launch, and we are in need of demand
Yeah.
incentives. So that's why it's got a lot of support for me.
Yeah, ditto.
12 months too. Was there an option for 18?
Oh yeah, so how it works is it goes up to 200 million, so each week is split up to 50 million. And so depending on the option, the vesting will differ. So the lockup is what the staker can they can specify. So they could specify between 1 and 18. And so on a lockup of 1, well, it also depends on what week they come in. And so for a lockup of 1, it would have a vesting of 1, so it would be in there for 2 months. And the bonus would be smaller compared to a lockup of 18. And the 18-month lockup would be preceded by a 12. Okay, so it'd be followed by 12-month vesting. So you'd have 18-month lockup and then a 12-month vesting. So up to yeah, so it's the vesting is variable depending on the lockup. So one thing to note is that it's not like a separate thing to the airdrop or the way the moderators get paid out. It works the same way. So it's not a separate program. It's a different use case.
Yeah, totally different kind of target audience. It's for the folks that didn't participate in phase 1 or phase 2, right? It's mostly for the folks, an option for the folks that are just buying on exchange to not feel like they got left out. Is that the essential?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you don't want to have this group of people that are like, okay, we didn't participate in phase 1, we didn't participate phase 2, and we're like, our only option to get in on the bonus is well, there's really no option without the staking program. So it provides these new users the same sort of opportunity with a cap. And so if it's if the people coming in from exchange, I guess they're eager to participate, they can get a similar bag, but it is capped. They can't go in, they can't go and buy 600 million tokens and get like the same amount of rewards. So it's first come, first serve.
I'm sure any buffet enjoyer can respect those kind of rules. So, all right, that's good to hear. I'm sure that's going to be exciting stuff. I'm excited to see all that come out of the exchanges. So, I remember us talking about it when we were thinking about what ways of going about this and stuff. So that one looks really good. All right, so we got to also talk about rewards based on average minimum peers. How's the discussion going with that, and where is that looking? We have any conflict or anything like that?
It was I believe Glossy's idea in the relay community. Relay runners were originally rewarded on their average peers, but it led to a lot of machines maxing out their peers on average and then when a stress test came, they didn't have the bandwidth to hold them, and they would drop down to what they could realistically sustain under load. So by rewarding minimum peers, we're rewarding what the machine can handle under load, and that is a better metric than average, and it reduces people wanting to game the system. It encourages you to have a lower and more. It encourages you to have a lower peer count, and because of that, you don't have a large drop, which is bad for the network stability. So I think it's another great one. I haven't seen a single bad thing said about it from the relay community, and another one that's had great support all around from the network committee for like 4 meetings in a row at this point.
Okay then. I guess we can dive into a little bit of these lower priority ones. One that was considered medium priority is Pact.
Oh, yep, that's I put a comment on that one this morning. It's so Andrew's submitting it. Pact and Humble are now one happy family, one big happy family, and this one is asking us to provide liquidity so they can seed the VOI stablecoin pool. There's I made a comment on this one just stating that so everybody understands when someone asks for USDC, this means we're going to sell VOI through a market maker to get USDC. So I just put that comment out there so people understood the process, but the idea of us seeding it and not like essentially loaning it to them where we get the APR or whatever associated with it, but the funds will be coming back to us. Um, I think this is low risk from that standpoint, and 25K of each VOI and USD, 50K is a nice base. Um, it's definitely not enough. So that's just kind of one piece of the liquidity seeding puzzle. Um, I think 25K sell pressure in VOI isn't going to be detrimental, and I think the benefit outweighs the 25K sell pressure on a centralized exchange. I will flag once again, and I have flagged this last week, and it is still in the same situation. There will not be any stable coins on VOI unless we have a functioning bridge. And right now, the bridge used to get these stable coins over for Pact has not been specified. My assumption is it will be Aramid. I am working with Aramid constantly. I'm available all the time for him. I'm working with him. I've been working with him today, yesterday, 3 days ago. Whenever he's available, I'm available to help him. But I think where the USDC is coming from should be specified. So I think we have base, Arbitrum, near Elgrand. Any one of those I'm sure would be fine, but it'd be good to know where we need to withdraw to get him his USDC. And this can't happen unless we have the bridge working. So this is all contingent on the bridge functioning. So just wanted to raise that right now. I think if it were to be done in its current state and Aramid never moved forward, we would be looking at Elgrand as the source of the USDC. So withdraw from CoinStore to Elgrand and USDC and then bridge it over so Pact can have access to it. Kelly?
Oh, I was just gonna say that, I read the proposal and I think it was the only one really asking for nothing, right? It's like we got a lot of proposals, asking for $10,000, but I read this one and yeah, I mean it's pretty conservative, and it depends on it depends on the bridging, and so I think that's one of the reasons why it's not really a high priority right now. But yeah, once we what's the so we basically revisited after the exchange listing, right?
I think that's what was shared in the announcement. Shanti said that whatever wasn't high priority is becoming like an October vote, though this one particularly, I think should coincide with the bridge functionality because we won't really have any DeFi. People won't be able to interact with DeFi unless we do something like this. So I would say this is, I think Cody called it medium priority, but I think this should be something that we like tackle pretty much as soon as the bridge is live. We can look at this, but it could only be fulfilled after the what was it, the 26th that Coin Store goes live. So in theory, we could get our sell order set up for that and have the USDC available when the bridge is live, which I'm optimistic will be on the 26th, but I'm not making any guarantees right now. But I'm doing everything I can.
Okay, so it seems like we're blocked by the bridge.
Yeah, the it's a block right now, but in Ludo we trust, and I am optimistic, and I will leave it there. Just optimistic.
Just on that, on the bridge, is there anything we like? Do we get any guarantees from Aramid, or is it like can we get updates, or can we have like a structured way to sort of?
So in my conversations with Ludo, I've had there are over 3 places in the DeFi committee. There's a thread called the Aramid Testing Squad. There's obviously his Aramid channel, and then I've sent him private messages as well as had some meetings. I've not gotten any hard commitments for dates or times. I have been asking for when can we expect the testnet bridge to go to Arbitrum's testnet and Base's testnet, so we can try out these EVM bridging before it goes live on mainnet, because I think that's kind of a requirement for this. But no hard commitments. No proposal has been submitted by Aramid, and I think I have been told by Ludo that this is a top priority for him, but I have no written commitments or anything like that it will be ready in time.
Is there? So there's no. Are they aiming to? Have you had any conversation where they're aiming to do a proposal or a retroactive grant or anything like that?
Shelly, go for it.
I don't think it's going to be like a grant proposal. It's most likely going to be like you said, retroactive grant, and those are mostly weighed by the impact, right? And this one is high impact. So I don't think for first and foremost, they wouldn't have the time to go through the regular grant process, going through like having a blueprint or whatever. So most likely, we're going to be looking for a retroactive grant after, like I don't know, maybe like at earliest, maybe a month after the bridge is functional and nothing, it's in operation.
Okay, I was just wondering because if there's any incentive or anything that we could expedite the bridge, or is it? I guess, as you said, it's Ludo's priority. So
Yeah, and on that note, like we're all familiar with what happened to Harmony 1. When you have a single bridge that your whole DeFi ecosystem lives on and it dies, the chain goes with it a lot of the time. And I don't think that having a single bridge is sustainable over a long period of time, because it could all be blown up if Aramid falls. So I think it's probably not realistic that we are going to have another bridge provider ready to go by the coin store listing. I think Aramid is most likely to be live at that point, but I would love for those watching, if you have a bridge and you want a bridge to Voy, please come forward with a proposal, because we would love to have a second bridge. And I think that's also a smart decision to eliminate our single points of failure where we can.
Whatever happened to David the glitter guy? The glitter bridge guy. Sorry, I just had to throw a joke out there. If you guys all remember that guy.
Oh yeah, epic tweeting from him.
Yeah, that's right. We could I'd almost forgotten about that. Cool. Well, there we go. We can go to Solana.
All right. Well,
Like I think Messina, like when I look at Elgrand or what I'm familiar with, I think Wormhole does an amazing job right now. So once again, I know it's not in our near term what we're going to be looking at, but I think that would make a really compelling proposal if somebody wanted to do something with Wormhole Envoy. That would garner a lot of trust and be nice to have two bridges.
I am all for wormhole bridge, but you know, it'd be a whole lot cooler. Someone building their own bridge as well too. That goes to everywhere, and you know, really utilizes what we can use. But all right, I think it's best we move on. We can go ahead and talk about this little, I guess, side proposal, the one by Thorpe. I've seen a few of you comment on that one already. Where are you guys at on that one? How do you feel? And then we can kind of, you know, I guess, kind of get to the closing parts of this.
Well, yeah, I gave him some feedback and well, he requested something like um like getting paid like on a monthly basis, or like based on like production of articles. And and so you know, I told him maybe he should work on getting some traction and seeing, you know, seeing what we, you know, getting some traction before requesting um content creation proposal for like in on a monthly basis, right? Or maybe like split it up into milestones. So so just waiting on some, you know, some response to the feedback. I think one of the, you know, one of the obvious things that could be done is to put up a proposal, like like actual proposal, and not you know, not just post it in Discard, so that the community can, you know, they could they could have their own feedback. But there, you know, it was the first one, and there wasn't a lot of there wasn't too much feedback. So, well, I think we should, you know, maybe someone from the community should give him a nudge and some advice to go and create a document and you know, ask for community feedback.
Yeah, I could probably personally help him with that. To be honest, and to be honest, like written content is valuable, but it's just nowhere near as valuable as video content, in my opinion. Um, so many more people just captures their small attention span when you give them video content. Like, we did all the work for you. You just have to watch. You don't even have to read. You know. So that's my personal opinion. But you know, written content is important. So there is that educational material for people to make even video content off of. So you got to have one for the other. But yeah, I don't know about a consistently paid thing. Like you said, I like the idea of milestones, and if he can, you know, really show the worth of that, you know, and then hit that worth, I feel like that'd be more feasible as well. But anything else you guys want to add there? If not, we can go ahead and move forward here and get to any remarks or, you know, any comments you guys want to give after that. Okay. Okay then. Um, we got a few proposal trackers by Scotty set up on the Google Drive here. Is what we see here. And let's take a look at that. I think we already kind of talked about the staking program, if that's the same one, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right. What about the community token for MainNet.
Yep, that was where we said I suggested 3 instead of 10, but
Okay,
needs to be done.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about this all already. Sorry, I'm just reading the agenda and making sure I go by everything. I'm not usually the one that leads here. Okay, let's see here.
I gotta make Shanti proud.
Yeah, just making sure I go through all of her material. Sir, you guys got any comments or anything else like that?
I can lead off. In the for those who couldn't make it, in the DeFi meeting last week, there was discussion about goals for TVL and how do we create a compelling DeFi opportunity. I came in with a goal of 1 million in VOI and USD after a year. It was recorded by Benny with sending our sites higher at something like 10 million. I've done a what I'll just call research right now. I'm not drafting this proposal, but I'm putting in the work to understand what other chains have done, what's realistic, comparisons between the two. So I'm currently working with the DeFi committee in a thread called the VOI USD farming squad is what I've called it. I've been using squads for all my threads, but we're just I've talked with Andrew. Andrew's been a great help in this. He understands it very well. I think he might be a a good choice for the DeFi leader if he wants to do that. Zardoz has been helping me as well. I've also talked to Super Synapse a little bit about it because he has a lot of experience on many chains, and I'll put the link in the chat here, but it's shared. I've included some projections and what other chains have done to incentivize a lot of liquidity. But to give you an idea, if you go to the second tab on chain comparison, um, there are some extremely high APYs or APRs offered on some of the chains that we want to bridge from. So Arbitrum, through their Camelot decks and them rewarding with their Camelot token, they're reaching APYs that, in my opinion, aren't sustainable or achievable with what we're trying to do with incentivizing with VOI and not a DEX token, for example. So there, for example, Camelot's like 80% on a USDC ETH pair, which I don't think we're going to be offering 80% on a VOI USD pair, for example. And you'll see as you look down the list, I think there is a lot of opportunity to take some share from near Ethereum base had a much lower than I was expecting USDC to ETH ratio, where the best you could do is around 12%. So in talking with Andrew, I put together the target APY and went with the growing APY idea, which was, or the thought behind it was, if you're a liquidity provider, you want to tell your friends, you want to talk about the liquidity provision, because the more people that liquidity provide, your APR is going to increase versus something stagnant or something decreasing as it grows. But I laid out something, these are all projections. I just wanted to put something in an Excel sheet to try to understand a bit better what was going on. So anyone here in the council, if you want to get involved, hop in the DeFi committee. This will eventually become a proposal, but we're just in kind of the research stage right now, and all feedback is welcome. So once again, all rests on a bridge functioning, but this is what we've laid out to make a compelling DeFi experience, something on chain that can handle the expected sell pressure when someone, let's say, gets block rewards and they want to sell. The idea is there's somebody who's just bridged USD over from base, let's say, and they want to buy your VOI because they want a liquidity provided. That's the idea with creating that demand there, is that there's an on-chain way to absorb that demand. That's the idea.
I also think, borrow lend protocols, I keep saying it over and over again, but those, the yields that are provided for that will eventually also be a TVL, way to attract more TVL and a way for us to, really dig in and get some economic activity going on chain quite a bit as well, that supports higher APYs. So, just something to think about.
That's a great point, because also those same creators of protocols don't want to come over to Voy until we have that kind of TVL. So
Yep.
I don't know if it's a chicken and
Chicken and
egg situation, but
It is.
we kind of have to create that foundation,
Yep.
and it's going to become a lot more enticing to bring over that MakerDAO equivalent over to Voy, or a folks finance kind of pro type of suite over to Voy when we do have like a meaningful TVL. Much more than, like we were talking about earlier, it's not going to be 50,000 that we lend to Pact to get started, right? We're talking, I've heard millions is what they're looking for. So I've heard 3 million plus was something that was um, a level where a protocol would consider coming over.
The good old chicken and egg.
Okay then. Well, and do you guys have anything else you guys want to add, or is that going to be it for today? Because I know it's just me and most of the team's not here, and me moderating the chat and doing this it's been quite a been quite a challenge.
You've done great, Cody. Thank you.
Hey,
I just want to say.
I do what I can. I appreciate y'all being patient with me, and appreciate everyone for watching
Hey,
today.
Scotty, on the other hand, he hasn't been doing anything this morning. Sorry, buddy. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Scotty is a saint. He is the glue. He's done a lot. He's doing a lot, and thank you, Scotty. The best made voice ever seen.
Yeah, I was just being sarcastic.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been fun, guys, and I'm sure when the lead doors come back, things will be a lot better. But appreciate you guys for being patient with me, like I said before, and I think we'll go ahead and end it from now. So unless you guys have anything else you want to add, definitely let me know, or forever hold your peace.
Oh, committee leaders. Yuri looks like he stepped up to be the network leader for 3 months. If you're watching this, you're probably quite engaged with Voy, and put your hat in the ring. I think we have a lot of people who are qualified to be committee leaders, and we want to work with you and make you successful, but we can't be the one drafting all the proposals and then voting on them. So if you're a leader out there, there's already talk about there being some form of compensation for it, where you make a proposal similar to what we see with D-Light and stress testing. So you will be rewarded for your efforts, but more importantly, you have such a strong voice, and I don't think people appreciate just how strong their voices are. Um, to use the DeFi one as an example, that could be a $2 million proposal potentially, and you could be the person who refines it and makes it the best it can be, and have a very meaningful impact on the void that you already have, the void you have locked, and the future of the chain. So if you're watching this, consider being a committee leader. I think we would love to have more of you contributing. And thank you to those who are: Fury, Zardoz. Um, I could there's a long list. Haroof, lots of people in the community, but the more the merrier.
All right, all we need now is that like Uncle Sam meme of Wilder pointing at everyone saying, "Wilder wants you to be part of the network."
That was exact. I can use GPT for that. I think I can figure that one out. That is exactly it.
So funny. Haroof just made a response saying, "Yikes, responsibility." We will conclude this today, boys. And thank you all. And we'll end this here. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Cody. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.